Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 28 of Celestial Journey. Last episode we went to our dragon dimension, fought some dragons, got a bunch of a bunch of dragon hearts. But I realized there's a problem. We actually need dragon eggs as much as we do dragon hearts. Dragon eggs are a component in, more immediately anyways, they're a component in all the wyvern pieces. We need one each. So we need 8 dragon eggs just for the wyvern gear. I mean, I suppose we don't need we need the pickaxe, we need the sword. Do we need the shovel? Yeah, I think so, right? Because that's part of the staff of power. So yeah, we need all 8. And later, dragon eggs are a component in Blessed Stone, which is it is a it's a creative altar power, and it's a component, in Infinity Catalyst, yada yada yada. So we need a source of dragon eggs as much as we do dragon hearts, and I think dragon eggs only spawn when you kill the dragon in the end in this version of Minecraft. I know in 1.7 you could kill the dimensional dragons, whatever, and get dragon eggs, but dragons only lay eggs in the end now, I guess. So we need a way to spawn dragons in the end. Obviously, it's possible to do it with, like block placers and end crystals, and that's like not an awful solution. However, it takes a long time to spawn that dragon, and you have to kill all the crystals every time, right? So let's see if we can do better than that. First of all, though, well, I'm thinking, is it worth going back to that dragon dimension to get a I need another syringe of dragon essence because I used the dragon syringe I had before. I guess we may as well go back. To go back there, though, if we look at our matter whatever teleporter thingy, that teleporter is probably gone. Yeah, it's been griefed by the dragons because dragons grief blocks when they fly through it. So we have to send a new matter receiver there. So let's make one first of all. And then I made a dimension editor which can be used to send blocks into other dimensions. So first we want to charge it, place it down, let the charge get named. Once it's sufficiently charged, I'll pick it up. Now, before we actually go there, though, we'll want some way to teleport there that doesn't involve the matter receiver. Because once I go there, this matter receiver is also going to get griefed. So anyways, to send it there, use your dimension editor. It just takes a little bit of time. So I wanted to make the charm of dislocation, whatever it's called. I have it here. Advanced dislocator. However, this uses charged draconium blocks, and as far as I know, these aren't craftable. I tried taking draconium, the old way of you take draconium and then you put it into like a charging device of some sort. I tried like the Ender IO wire charger here, no good, and it doesn't just charge passively in my inventory, even if I only have one in a stack. So I think this mechanic has been depreciated. One thing I kind of want to try is making the energy infuser. However, this is like 17,000 nested crafting steps that I don't want to do right now. So I don't know if it's uncraftable or if I just have to make the energy infuser to craft it. Either way, for now we can make do with just a regular dislocator. So let's see, I'll make another one because the one I have I renamed already. But we'll use that to teleport back into this dimension when we go there. While that crafts, I want to touch on something else I mentioned earlier incorrectly. So before I said that if a mechanical miner were full and you place a block in front of it and mines it, I thought it would drop it as an item, because previously I tested it like this, right? I fill a mechanical miner with stuff, and then I place a water jar in front of it, and bam, the water jar goes away. So I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't notice that it didn't drop the jar, but I just figured, I just didn't see it, or my magnet stole it. However, what's actually happening is the item doesn't get dropped. There is a hidden 10th inventory slot that can hold a single item, and it'll automatically fill the item from that 10th inventory slot. However, so it'll fill the 10th inventory slot with the first extra item. However, if you put another extra item in front of it, it just leaves it there. So that's actually a problem, because that can result in our system getting jammed when the jars fill up. So if you see Metalum and Terra are the two we have the most of, and let's see, Metalum, I think I've gotten kind of used to where some of these are. Metalum, it's like number 12 or something, yeah. So at first I tried, I put a vacuum chest here to pick up the excess jars, but it wasn't behaving. And that's because, again, as I said, this wasn't actually dropping the jars. So this vacuum chest does nothing. Put it away. So at one point, this thing filled up completely. And I was like, wait, why is my system jammed up? So I've since taken some of the jars out manually. A proper solution then would involve some way of detecting, when we have too many jars in here. I assume a comparator can do that. I have assumed wrong. Let's see. All right, let's try the inventory checker. Slot amount. I don't care for slot. Can I set a negative value there? Let me test this a little bit. Yeah, that inventory checker will only check one slot. So I guess what we can just do is use an ME level emitter. If we see over X worded jars of a single type, say 500, we can send the excess jars to of something that'll either recycle them or delete them. I'll tweak that system later. For now, it takes a sufficiently long time to reach 500 jars that I can just search this, and if I see a high number, I'll just take a stack out. And then for now, I've been putting them in a chest here where they will probably sit until I build the system to recycle them. Anyways, our dislocator's done. Our dimension is back being powered in our dimension builder. If we head over to our teleporter again, this one, I guess it loses its name when you send it, so there's no point naming it. But you definitely want to charge it first. So once we teleport here, it should put us in our dragon dimension. Yep. And then when you shift right click with the dislocator, it'll bind it to where you are. So now it's bound here. After I head back to the overworld, I'll rename it so that I know what it is. Anyways, now that I'm here, I may as well go get my vial of dragon essence. This hole that the dragons have dug is pretty funny too. Again, it comes from their behavior to fly towards 0, 0. And I guess they just fly down? I don't know why they fly so far down. Because I know in the end, they don't fly towards 0, 0, 0, right? Their Y coordinate isn't, they don't fly towards Y, 0. They fly towards the surface. But I guess here they fly towards 0, 0, 0. Anyways, it results in them digging very deep holes. Anyways, we can rename our charge or our teleporter thingy so we know where it takes us to, store it for later. Now that we have a syringe full of dragon or ender dragon essence, we can go spawn dragons in the end using the spawner from RF Tools. The way this spawner works is you have to provide it with power, the syringe, which is the model, and certain materials. So to spawn an ender dragon, it takes some amount of power, 100,000 RF, which is practically 0, 0.1 bottles of enchanting, 100 endstone, and 200 of any of these items, which I think count as living matter. So we have to, for now, I'll do it by hand, but these materials have to be provided through a matter beamer. So let me grab some of these things and then we'll head to the end and try to spawn a couple ender dragons. When building this, in the end, we want to keep in mind that the dragon is capable of griefing the blocks that we use for the build. So we want to take advantage of the fact that the dragon flies towards 0, 0 and build in such a way that minimizes the chances that the dragon will destroy our spawner. It's probably possible to build in a way that makes it impossible for that to happen, but I just honestly don't know how. You can always do, game rule mob griefing false, turn off mob griefing as a way of dealing with it. Whether you consider that cheating or not is up to you. So I think to minimize the chance of something going awry, you want your spawner facing, I'm not sure if facing up or, let's try having it face away. So we'll have the spawn, or rather face like this. I think the mob spawns, out the direction the spawner faces. So this should spawn it that way, and it'll hopefully fly towards there. Then you want your matter beamers on the other side. You want to connect them. How does this work? You just right click, right click, right click, right click. All right. So previously I had also said that it takes 100 of the block. I think it takes 100 points worth of the block. So I don't actually know how much each of these things is worth. I read on the wiki that apparently like each carrot is worth 1.5. I think these might need a redstone signal to run as well. So we'll try one out and find out. Yeah, and then with I 100% infused these matter beamers, so I guess that's a 50% bonus. So you see how it takes 200, I guess this is called living matter. 200 living matter is, a hair under 100 carrots. So you put carrots here, they get beamed as living matter. In this one, we'll put a bottle of enchanting. I think these count as 1 each, so 1.5 each, yeah, because they're infused. So again, the dragon only takes 0.1, so this is enough for 15 dragons. And lastly, we put our endstone here, which I suspect is 1.5. Yeah, so it's 1 point normally, and then the 0.5 comes from being infused. Cool. So one stack will put us. So once this is done beaming the endstone, we should be just short of the 100 we need, and we need a bit more plant matter too. And then I think as soon as we tick over 100, they should spawn an ender dragon. So if we want to spawn them continuously, we just keep these stocked with materials. But right now I only want 1. So if I put, let's see, 2 more will put us right on the brink. And the next piece should spawn it, right? We have over the thresholds of all of these. So hopefully this doesn't grief the entire setup I just built. That's my concern. Alright, there we go. So it did kill the spawner, unfortunately. But it did not kill the beamers. Let's see if we can do something about that. Since he killed my spawner, I'm going to have to get your blood again, buddy. Alright, I set up a new spawner. Slightly different layout. I want it far enough away that I don't break my matter beamers. I'm hoping it doesn't break anything, ideally. And the spawner is once again on the cusp of being ready to spawn, just needs a piece of endstone. So this time I'm pointing it upwards. I'm hoping once again that it doesn't grief the spawner. This is the type of thing that I should have tested in creative, but hey, look at that. So I'm reasonably sure he will reliably and always fly that way when he spawns, because that's 0-0. So if I just, if I want to spawn more dragons, I just fill this up with more stuff. Unfortunately, I don't have access to my AE system out here, so I only have materials I brought. But this should let me spawn dragons that I can now, fly over and kill manually. If we want to try to kill them automatically, that'll be a separate project. Alright, off those 2 dragons, I got 3 eggs. I think each dragon drops 2 eggs. However, one of the eggs, basically the egg from the first dragon, got griefed by the second dragon. Whoopsies. Anyways, 3 eggs I think is enough to get us started. I want to make some of the wyvern and therefore draconic gear. So the draconic gear is actually pretty easy once you have the wyvern gear. It's, 2 awakened cores and some awakened draconium. However, the wyvern gear is a much bigger hassle. So let's just dive right in. I actually want to start with the bow, I think. Because for one, I'm still using my laser gun, and that goes away next update. Actually, the update's already out. I just haven't applied it because I don't want to make a new weapon yet. Well, I want to make the draconic bow. I don't want to make an intermediate weapon. So start with the wyvern bow. This is so the intermediate. All these bows, I think, generally speaking, aren't too bad. I have to go capture and spawn some jungle mob probably, but aside from that, there's really nothing to see here. However, there are, let's see, blocks of blood have to be made with a couple blood altar steps, I think. We have to fill empty sockets, and these take weak activation crystals, which also have to be made in a blood altar. So why don't we set up another blood altar for on-demand work? Blood altar number 4. So this altar, the runes I'm using on it are exactly the same as the runes I'm using on my, always crafting altar. I know that you can use charging runes in place of some of these speed runes. So charging runes, let's see, where are they? charging runes, they work kind of like, I guess, like crafting batteries. So they'll absorb some life essence and hold it in their inventory, like a like an internal inventory. And then when you go to craft something, it releases it all immediately. But instead of doing that, well, basically that makes, if the altar is only used sporadically, that means that while it's not crafting, it can bank progress. My solution or instead of using those, however, my plan is when crafting things that stack, you can just insert multiples at a time, and then they'll all craft in parallel, which will increase your blood consumption, but it also makes it craft faster. So my plan is, I'll just craft empty sockets in parallel. I'll fill sockets in parallel. Lava crystals don't stack, so you can't do it for that. Part of the reason I don't want to use charging runes as well is because this will handle, while it is sporadic, it'll be sporadic in batches. So while charging runes, they help the first couple items in a batch a lot, they don't really help subsequent items. Anyways, that's why I'm all speed runed up. It's a lot of crafting steps and a lot of stuff like weak blood shards, but we can now auto-craft these blocks of blood. A lot of energetic alloy. Anyways, all of it except the weak blood shards are fully automated. Weak blood shards, I'm still crafting them manually by, where in this recipe do they show up? By using this recipe, basically we can turn imbued slates into weak blood shards, and then when I run low, I just craft a couple thousand. The only other kind of tricky component are these arcane adrosiums, which take 3 Gaia spirits each, and I think they may take another part of a Gaia spirit in here. No, they don't. These I can auto-craft, so that's no big deal, but basically the bow takes 10, I think, of these gems, and so basically it takes 30 Gaia spirits, which is like, 2 Gaia Guardian kills, approximately? I think Gaia Guardian 2 drops 16, but it costs 4 to spawn him. So I guess it's like 2.5, 3. Anyways, that should make the Bow of the Wyvern. Cool. Now, the fact that because I was thinking about taking down my charger so that it would complete the quest. Oh, it did complete the quest. Cool. I wasn't sure if the quest would be MBT data sensitive or not. Anyways, the bow as is kind of totally sucks. For one, it requires arrows. Not that we're short on arrows, but it's like, sure, it's better than a normal bow, but its damage is base damage is 2. But we're going to make some upgrades to it. First of all, we're going to upgrade it to Awakened or Draconic tier. So to make the Draconic bow, first of all, we need Draconic tier fusion injectors. So I guess we have to upgrade a set of fusion injectors to Draconic tier, and then we can just do this very simple craft. 10 Draconic fusion crafting injectors, I think. Yeah, the only thing here, I mean, it takes a bit of Awakened Draconium, but no biggie. It'll take it a couple minutes to craft, though. Upgraded all these injectors to Draconic tier, so we can now do Draconic tier recipes. Now for these upgrading from Wyvern to Draconic, almost all the recipes look the same. Like you have your item plus your, 1 Awakened Core, 1 Draconic Energy Core, and 2 Draconium Ingots. But I'm not going to encode the recipes because for one, there's like weird stuff with MBT data with like the amount of energy in it. And honestly, I think I'll only I'll only do each of these crafts once, right? Like what reason do I have for a second Bow of the Wyvern, for instance? Also, I have to... if I use my automation for this, I have to whitelist Bow of the Wyvern to go in there, so I'll just place it in manually. Anyways, this recipe is pretty quick. Now, upgrading from Draconic from Wyvern to Draconic isn't actually a massive upgrade. The real power comes from these, let's see what they're called. The real power comes from these upgrades, namely, draw speed, arrow speed, and arrow damage. I think it can also take RF capacity upgrades. So the way these work is these upgrade keys are never consumed in crafting recipes, but there's 4 tiers of upgrade: basic, Wyvern, Draconic, and Chaotic. Chaotic tier upgrades are generally speaking not implemented. I think only the Flux Capacitor has a Draconic tier upgrade, so I won't bother with them in general. But basic so right now, if I take the bow and we look at it, it's base arrow damage in the lower right corner is 3. In fact, let me find that keybind so I can make that stay shown longer. All right, there's a keybind for like show draconic evolution HUD, and from here you can configure. I want it to now not fade out, at least for now, so we can look at it. So actually, I think if I open this again and I click the item, we can see. No, that doesn't show it. Is it in the tooltip? Hold control for upgrades. There we go. We can see that none of the upgrades are applied. And that limits how we can configure the item here. So we can, the bow is configurable, so you can be like, well, I want more base damage. 3.0 is the maximum without upgrades, but as you go up, or as you add, as you add those upgrade keys to it, you can make it go up. Same for like, I think you can turn this on immediately. So Arrow of Draconic Fire removes the need for arrows. And it might grief blocks. Ooh, that was okay. Well, I guess it doesn't grief blocks, but yeah. Anyways, there's a bunch of settings. Generally speaking, I'll talk more about them after I apply the upgrades. My point is now I want to go ahead and apply all of those upgrades: RF capacity, RF capacity is important. Arrow damage, arrow speed, and draw speed. So all the upgrades of a given tier use the same materials. Like they all use 2 golden apples, 2 diamonds, 2 eyes of ender, a draconic core, and the upgrade key. So for this bit, actually I turn off all the automation. So let's do that. So no auto crafting will interrupt me. And then I turn single item mode off, and I just put, for this case, since I'm doing 4 upgrades, I put 4 times the materials in, and then that way, the only thing I have to restock in between crafts is the upgrade key, right? So first I do this one, it'll upgrade whichever key that happened to be RF capacity, I guess. And then when it's done, I can swap in arrow damage. It's still a pretty tedious manual process, but it's like the type of thing you only do once. So, all right, I still have to. I don't want to withdraw the bow every time. If I turn you off, I have this extract set on active with signal. So if I turn this off, it won't extract the bow every time either. So anyways, we can see with the upgrade, however, now when we hold control, it has the basic upgrade. So I'm going to go through this and apply up to Draconic tier upgrade with all of these, upgrade keys. All right, I've upgraded all the things to Draconic tier. So now when we open this UI, you can see that, let's keep this off for the time being. Base damage was 3. Now it goes all the way up to 9. As we turn these things on, though, the energy cost goes up. So there's a thing that says energy cost per shot right there at the bottom right. RF per shot, 274,000. If that value exceeds the total charge of the bow, obviously you can't fire it. There are a couple more upgrades I want to make, though, and those are just plain enchantments. The bow takes, punch, withering, infinity, power. Right now, I just want to put infinity and power on it. The vanilla enchanting table is offering me infinity. Let's see if I get power as well. Oh, would you look at that? That's perfect. All right. Punch it's neither good nor bad. I don't like it on weapons that don't one-shot things, although I expect this will have absolutely no problem one-shotting. So I want to test one more thing. Do we have a mod that lets me shoot infinity without arrows? And yes, we do. So, yeah, basically draw speed is instant. Arrow speed is instant. And one downside is it still cannot hit Enderman because it counts as a projectile. But that's fine. Let's go try it against an Ender Dragon just for funsies. So I came over to our, dragon-filled world. And I expect it'll take down the dragon in 5 shots. Can't say for sure if that one was hurt or not, so let's see if we can find a new dragon. I mean, I guess they're all just chilling down there and just lay into it. But we should see dragons exploding left, right, and center. Oh, right. Well, they're in that mode. I can't hit them with range attacks, can I? So yeah, I guess the biggest disadvantage of this compared to the laser gun is that it counts as a range weapon. Man, I wish all range weapons counted as melee weapons. But yeah, it does a lot of damage. I wish it was like a target dummy or something I could test it on. But does it show anywhere the damage it deals? No, it doesn't. Oh well. Point is, I guess if I summon a normal dragon, it'll have a health bar, and we can test on that. I guess let's do that just for fun. Before we go, there's another feature I want to show, which is the profiles. So there's a hotkey, you can bind it to whatever you like. It's normally, I think, C or something, to toggle between profiles. So I set a profile for explosive. And in explosive, you just turn explosion power on, and it's basically like shooting TNT. Let's see, I might have some error here. I think auto fire has to be off, and that's it. So this, I don't know why it's not shooting. 1 second. Alright, for some reason, I guess once you have enough draw speed, the bow doesn't really work with auto fire off. So with explosive mode on, when you fire an arrow, there's an explosion at the end. Now the explosion, if you're in claim chunks, doesn't destroy blocks, but if you're in unclaimed chunks, it'll destroy blocks. And the reason I want this is so that when we go, summon the dragon, if we have to kill the crystals that are behind the walls, we can, or behind the bars, we can hit those just fine. All right, so let's give this a shot. All right, he's summoned in. Normally, when you kill the dragon, you have to kill those things, right? But I'm pretty sure we can just out DPS him through it. So even though I think while he's getting channeled, he takes like 75% less damage or something. These shots really hurt. Let's see what happens if we kill them. You can see on explosive mode, it uses a lot more energy per shot, so I'll try to avoid it when possible, I guess. For now, since I don't have a draconic flux capacitor on me, I don't have, infinite RF. But we'll make one of those soon enough. Does it have it for that one yet? Yeah, it's gone. Alright, so I mean, the dragon only has 1/3 of its health list. I'm pretty sure this will one-shot him. Nope. So it does about 1/4 of his health per shot. Anyways, point is, draconic bow, very good. Another thing I'm hoping that this bow is good at is the Gaia Guardian. Right, I have to hit the button to start the fight. I know the Gaia Guardian used to be immune to range damage, but that appears to not be the case anymore. I guess he still has his damage taken per hit limit, which means it's just, I don't know, it's no harder than it is without it, I guess. It just makes it easy to hit him every cycle. Whatever. I'm going to have to fight the Gaia Guardian a bunch of times. Remember, it's like 2.5 Gaia Guardian fights per piece of wyvern gear. And I have, the 4 pieces of armor, and the Staff of Power takes, I think, 4 other pieces. Right, it takes a pickaxe, a shovel, and a sword. So 3. So that's 7 total. Times 3, 20. I have to fight the Gaia Guardian about 20 times. Well, what can you do? Such is as it is. Next up, I'm going to craft all the wyvern and therefore draconic armor and the Staff of Power. Well, I think the Staff of Power is not required in this pack. In fact, it's probably not even all that terribly good in this pack. It doesn't look like it's used as a crafting component. Maybe I'll skip it. But the armor is definitely required. I think we have to kill the Ender or the Chaos Dragon. Actually, do we have to kill the Chaos Dragon in this pack? Let me consider. Well, there we go. Yeah, we have to kill the Chaos Dragon at some point. In some packs, it's possible to kill the Chaos Dragon without the Draconic gear, but without mods like Astral Sorcery or Armor Plus to give you the Chaos damage resist. I'm almost 100% sure that this Ender gear won't cut it. So yeah, to that end, I'll have to make the Draconic armor. It's just, this is so much microcrafting, it's gonna drive me halfway insane. But what can I do? It just has to be done. So let's wrap up this episode here. I'll do all the crafting I talked about between episodes, and next time we can come back and go whoop the Chaos Dragon. Because all this crafting is just, it's nothing new. It's all the stuff we've already done, right? I'm sure you guys don't want to see it any more than I want to do it, but it has to be done. So in any event, I hope you liked this episode. I really had fun making the bow. I love the draconic bow. It's probably my favorite weapon in the game. And I hope you see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.